Welcome. In this video, what I'm going to do is extend on the scrolling background example, but make it so that when we get to either the right edge or the left edge, that we don't stop there, that the background keeps scrolling. But I'm going to use a trick that you might have, know from old style animation loops where, the characters are running to the left or the right, and the background just kind of continually loops behind them. And the trick is that when you make that background, you make it so that the left-hand side lines up with the right-hand side. And so when you get all the way to the left, you just draw another copy of the same image beside it and just keep it moving. So it looks like the background image is much larger than it really is. And in fact, that's what I've done with the image that's behind me on the screen here. The hill that's over on the left side behind my head here actually lines up perfectly with the right-hand edge of the image. I just did a little bit of manipulation in Photoshop to achieve that. So let's go to the sketch. The first thing I'm going to do is add that file to my sketch. It's called bgwrap, and I'm going to use that instead of the previous background image that I had there. While that uploads, I'll just show you on the sketch what I'm planning to do here. So just to sort of sketch out the idea in another way, at the moment when I draw that background image, if this green rectangle is the background image, it's a little bit larger than my canvas, which is 600 by 400. And I have a variable called bgleft, which controls where that background image gets drawn. And bgleft is basically just the left point that we draw that background at. So if I want to move the background to the left, I basically make bgleft go negative. And if I want to move the background to the right, I make bgleft go positive. And if you think about it, the range that bgleft can go through at the moment is basically, it can go all the way to the right until bgleft equals 0, or it can go all the way, and that's because if it went any further that way, we'd start to see this edge here. So here bgleft equals 0. And it goes all the way the other way to the width of this image, minus the width of the page. So like if I take this one, if I move it back that much, so if it was moved back to there, we would just start to see the right-hand side of that background image coming into the canvas frame. So that is bg.width, which is this whole length here, minus the width of the canvas. So bgleft goes from negative bg.width minus width to width. That's in the current version. Let's switch back and start coding that in. So that file has uploaded now. I can now delete the previous one. I'll just remove that from the sketch. Okay, I'll click into the sketch and just change the name of the file that we're loading. bgwrap, and it's not a JPG, it's a PNG. Oops. Save it again, reload. Just looks like it missed out on that last little change. bgwrap.png. So here I've got the new image as the background. Now the first thing I'm going to do is change it so that we can see that image coming off the canvas to the left and the right. So if I go down here, that's actually controlled in these two functions, move background left and move background right. And basically, if I just comment out that if statement and just make it always change the value of BG left, it's going to let us see when the image goes off the screen. So there it goes off the screen to the left, and it's going off the screen to the right. Now basically what I want to do is draw not just one background image, like I am at the moment, but a second one to the right and a third one to the left. And this one's going to be basically what we have now, but we're just going to add a second one and a third one. The identical image, but just drawn next to the other one. So if I go back to the screen, and this is actually really easy to do. All I have to do is copy this line and then just change where we draw it to the left, right? So if I draw the first one in the middle and then the second one to the right, so the left position of that's going to be BG left plus BG dot width, and the third one is going to be BG left minus BG dot width. So if I run that again, I'll just move this over. So now you see we get a second copy, and you can see here how it lines up. And there goes, this is the third one to the left. So that's the one to the left, and that's the one to the right. Now what we need to do is when we get to this point, just as we come and see that edge there, we need to reset everything back to the center. So basically what I need to do is now in my move background left and move background right, I need to just say, I'll hop out of the way here. I just need to say BG, so if BG left is less than min BG left, BG left plus equals BG dot width. So it's gone all the way to the left till it's got to that minimum point. That's the center image, so there's still one to the left and still one to the right. And if it tries to go any further than that, I'm going to move it back to the middle again, and then there's going to be one to the right and one to the left. So that's when we're moving to the left. So now when I'm moving the character to the right, the background is moving to the left. So we keep going there. We see the second one. And we don't see it on the screen, but that's actually reset the image to the center again. So I can actually just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and the background repeats and repeats. So it works when we're going to the right. Now let's make it work when we're going to the left. Because at the moment we still see that edge come in. And I'm just going to tidy up my code as I go. Like, it's always a good idea to keep things tidy as you go. And for the other part, I need to just do something in the move background right function. So get rid of that. And here I'm going to say if BG left is greater than width, BG left minus equals BG dot width. I think that will work. Let's see. Oh, I've got an extra bracket there. So if I go to the left, now you can see it's resetting on the left as well. And on the right, so that's working. Now let's just do one last thing. I'm going to make it so that when we run this sketch, it draws it full screen. So I'm going to make my canvas size not 600 by 400, but 1 window width by window height. And I'm going to want to scale up the background image when I draw it into the screen. So there's a few ways I could do this, but one easy way that's going to work quite well. I'm thinking I can use the scale function to just scale the whole coordinate system. It might make it a little bit tricky with when I'm checking how far to the left or right we are. So it might be better to do that a little bit more manually. What I'm going to do is create two variables. Just one variable actually. So I'm going to say bg scale. And because when I set the size to be window width and window height, it's going to be larger than 400 pixels high, most likely, and my background is only 400 pixels high. So I want to like stretch the background so it fills the whole window. So I'm going to stretch it by some amount, which is this background scale. So bg scale equals, so it's going to be window height divided by bg.height. So if the window is 800 pixels tall and the background is 400 pixels, that's like 2 times. Everything needs to be 2 times bigger. The background needs to be 2 times bigger. So now I can use this bg scale. Yeah, I can use this bg scale for my scale function. So I can say scale, bg scale, bg scale. And let's see if it works. Hooray, it seems to be working. I think possibly the puck is displaying in slightly the wrong place. Let's just share. I'll open it in the full screen mode, in the present mode would be a good one. Yeah, it looks like the puck is not displaying properly. Let's try and figure out what's going wrong there. So part of what we have to be careful of when we scale things like this is that the value of width we don't want to multiply that by 2. So I actually want to get like basically I think I should make a substitute for width and height, those built-in functions, that is also scaled. So let's say let W scale and let H scale. And I'm going to say W scale equals width divided by bg scale, and H scale equals height divided by bg scale. And now when I create the little character here, I should use W scale and H scale. Yeah, so that the puck is now on the screen. And I'm also using the full width down the bottom when I'm checking for when to move left in the handle. I think it's here in the can move left and can move right. If I go into my puck.js, here I should be using W scale. Great. So let's open that full screen just to enjoy it running really big in the background, and you can see we can scroll forever and ever. Now I wonder what's happening there. So there seems to be a little window there where it's not quite updating as quickly as we'd like, and that might be because down here we need to I probably need to scale this as well. So it's probably, I'm hoping it might be BG width plus width divided by, oh well, I'll use W scale there, W scale. And here I'll try using W scale. That looks better. So there we go. We have a background that scrolls forever and ever, and you can fill this with as many wonderful possibilities as you can think of. So happy creative coding. I look forward to seeing what you do with this example.